Good morning, students. Yesterday we have started our new chapter, that is Legislature, and we have discussed about the Parliament and two houses of the Parliament in last session yesterday. And today we start with the new topic, that is the function of Indian Parliament. As we have discussed yesterday that we have taken the Parliament form of government from Britain. We have two houses of Parliament. Rajya Sabha is the upper house, Lok Sabha is known as the lower house. And we have also discussed about the strength of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And now today we will discuss the functions of Indian Parliament. So we will discuss one by one what are the various functions of Indian Parliament. The first one is legislative function. Parliament is the chief lawmaking body of India and enacts legislation for the country. So the basic function or the main function of the parliament is to make the law for the country. So it is the duty of the parliament, it is the function of the parliament that parliament make law in country, and they can amend the constitution time to time. The second function here is control over executives. As we have discussed in the last chapter also about in the executive chapter, that we have two kind of executives. One are the political executives and another are the permanent executives. So if we talk about the political executives, means the prime minister and his cabinet is known as the political executives. So it is the duty of the legislature, or it is the duty of the parliament, or we can say that it is a function of the parliament to control over the executive. Like in the last chapter we have discussed that every minister, the cabinet minister and prime minister, they are answerable in the legislature, they are answerable in the parliament. If they have taken a decision, उन्होंने कोई decision लिया है, and if opposition is not satisfied and the other legislatures are not satisfied with the decision of the government, or या फिर कोई नेशनल कंसर्न का कोई इशू है, इन दैट केसेस द पार्लियामेंट और द एग्जीक्यूटिव इज आंसरेबल टू द parliament. The legislature who are sitting, the legislatives who are sitting in the parliament have full right to ask the question from the different minister on different issues. So in this way we can say that it is parliament who may control over the executives. Then we will discuss the financial functions of the parliament. Parliament controls the income and expenditure of the government. So it is parliament who control the income and expenditure of the government. Like government can impose various type of taxes to increase its revenue, and government has to make expenditure on various issues of social concern and nation building. So it is parliament who can make control over the financial matters of the executive or matters of the government. In fact, we have committees in the parliament who can take care about the expenditure and revenue of the government. So next is representation. Member of the parliament represent the different group of Indian society. As we all know that we have two houses of the parliament in our country, and both these two houses represent the different sections of the society. They represent the different section, different sects of the society, and geographical representation of the country. Means like our whole nation is divided into various constituencies. Like in Haryana we have discussed, we have also 10 constituencies for Lok Sabha and 5 seats for Rajya Sabha. In the same manner, different states according to their population, they have membership in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we can say that representation of the country, the legislatives who are sitting in the parliament are the representative of the people of India. Next one is the debating function. Parliament discuss and analysis any and every national issues. So it is parliament, like we have 3 sessions of our parliament: budget session, monsoon session and winter session. हमारे parliament के 3 session होते हैं every year, and means there is a provision that there should not be a gap of more than 6 months between the 2 session of the parliament. And in these session of parliament, the various legislatives who are sitting in the parliament discuss the various matters of the national issues, discuss various मैटर ऑफ नेशनल इशू एंड नेशनल सिक्योरिटी। जो भी कंट्री को लेकर जितने भी हमारे इश्यूज हैं उनको पार्लियामेंट में डिस्कस किया जाता है और उनके ऊपर जो है एक डिस्कशन होता है और गवर्नमेंट से भी जो है क्वेश्चंस किए जाते हैं बाय द लेजिस्लेचर दैट व्हाट गवर्नमेंट इज डूइंग टू रिजॉल्व दीज मैटर्स इन द नेशन। देन कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट फंक्शंस, पार्लियामेंट हैज द पावर टू अमेंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। As we have discussed that our constitution, we can say that our constitution is amendable. We can amend our constitution as per the requirement of the time. Like our constitution is not rigid and not flexible. It is a mixture of rigidity and flexibility. Like in the first chapter of constitution, we have discussed this feature of the constitution, that our constitution is a mixture of flexibility and rigidity. Rigidity means that it is not that easy to make changes in the constitution, but we can make the amendment in the constitution as per the requirement. But वो इतना भी ज़्यादा वो नहीं है कि हम उसमें कोई amendment नहीं कर सकते. We can make the amendment. So who make the amendment in the constitution? Who make the changes in the constitution? It is the parliament who can amend the constitution, who can make amendment in the constitution. Like various amendments so far have done in our constitution. One of the most important amendment which we have discussed in the class also, that is the 42nd amendment in 1976. It is also known as the mini constitution because at that time most of the amendments, बहुत सारे ऐसे amendments थे, बहुत सारे changes जो है वो Indian constitution में जो है किए गए थे। और so who is empowered? Parliament is empowered to make the amendment. Then electoral function. Parliament also has electoral function. The parliament elect the president and vice president of India. As we have discussed in the election of the president, like all the elected members of the parliament can take part in the election of the president and vice president. So, sorry, parliament elect the president and the vice president of India. So this is the we can say electoral function of the parliament. And then judicial function, parliament also has to perform some judicial duties, like parliament can impeach president, parliament can impeach the vice president and the judges of the high court and the supreme court through impeachment. So how we remove our president and vice president, as we have discussed earlier also, that we can remove our president with the process of the impeachment. बट सो फॉर आज तक हमारी कंट्री में ऐसा नहीं हुआ है कि हमने किसी प्रेसिडेंट के अगेंस्ट जो इम्पीचमेंट प्रोसेस को स्टार्ट किया है. सो दिस इज द जुडिशियल फंक्शन ऑफ द parliament. So we have discussed the various function of the parliament one by one, like what are the various functions of parliament. एक बार हम देख लेते हैं फिर से. Like first one is the, we can say, legislative function. So what is legislative function? Law making function of parliament. Control over executive. All the ministers, cabinet minister and prime minister are answerable to the parliament. Then financial functions. The expenditure and revenue of the government is controlled by the parliament. Sorry. Then representation. It is parliament which give representation of various states. जो डिफरेंट स्टेट्स हैं, जो हमारे जोग्राफिकल एरियाज़ हैं, या डिफरेंट जो सेक्शन हैं सोसाइटी को, उनको एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिलता है, बिकॉज ऑल द मेंबर्स सिटिंग इन द पार्लियामेंट आर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. Then we have discussed the debating function. It is a parliament where the various issues of national interest are discussed. जहाँ पे कि national interest या national security को लेके जितने भी issues हैं उनको discuss किया जाता है. Then sorry student, then constituent function. It is parliament who can amend the constitution. Parliament has also the power to amend the constitution. As we have discussed in the first chapter, that our constitution is a mixture of flexibility and rigidity. And then electoral function. The parliament can elect the president and the vice president. All the elected member of parliament can take part in the election of the president and vice president. This is the electoral function of the parliament. Then judicial function, like impeachment of president, vice president, judges of high court and supreme court. This is the another function of the parliament. So these are the various functions of the parliament. Then here are some powers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So powers of Lok Sabha: make laws on matters included in the union list and concurrent list, can introduce and enact money and non-money bill. So parliament, like if we talk about the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the parliament, make laws on matter include in union list. So Lok Sabha, or we can say the parliament, is empowered to make laws on the union list. But in the case of money bill, Lok Sabha has more power over Rajya Sabha, because a money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha with prior approval of the president. The other bill can be introduced in either house of the parliament. जो मनी बिल को छोड़ के जो ऑर्डिनरी बिल है या और बिल हैं वो हम किसी भी हाउस में प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं पार्लियामेंट के, बट दैट अ मनी बिल कैन ओनली बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन लोक सभा. Considers and approve Rajya Sabha considers and approves non-money bills and suggests amendment to money bill. So in case of money bill, Rajya Sabha has only power that they can suggest the recommendation, they can suggest the amendment to the Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha can withhold the money bill only for the 14 days. 14 डेज के लिए ही राज्यसभा के पास पावर है कि वो किसी मनी बिल को विदहोल्ड कर सकते हैं. लाइक मनी बिल वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द क्लास ऑल्सो स्टूडेंट्स दैट अ बिल रिलेटेड टू द फाइनेंशियल मैटर इज नोन एज द मनी बिल, उसको हम मनी बिल बोलते हैं. सो मनी बिल कैन ओनली बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन लोकसभा, एंड इफ लोकसभा पास द मनी बिल सेंड टू द राज्यसभा. मनी बिल कहाँ जाएगा? राज्यसभा में जाएगा. नाउ राज्यसभा हैज पावर टू मेक सजेशंस, or Rajya Sabha can suggest some amendment to the money bill to the Lok Sabha, and now it depends on the Lok Sabha whether they consider their amendments or not. There is no such provision कि जो राज्य सभा ने जो amendment suggest किए हैं तो उसको Lok Sabha is not bound to consider these amendments basically in the case of money bill. Later on we will discuss in detail also. Approves proposal of taxation, budget and annual financial statements. लोकसभा हमारा बजट जो है वो कहाँ पर आता है? लोकसभा में आता है. Approves constitutional amendments, राज्यसभा. Like if government want to make certain kind of amendment in the constitution, then both the houses can make the amendments. Then control the executive by asking questions, supplementary questions, resolutions and motion, and throw no confidence a motion. Exercise control over executive by asking questions, introducing motions and resolutions. So basically both the houses can control the executive by asking them questions. उनसे क्वेश्चन पूछकर दोनों ही हाउस जो है राज्यसभा एंड लोकसभा दोनों ही हाउस अपने एग्जीक्यूटिव्स को क्या करते हैं? कंट्रोल करते हैं. Then we have discussed about the no confidence motion also, that what is no confidence motion. In 1962 first time in free India, a no confidence motion was moved against Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru government after Indo-China war against V. Krishnan Menon, then the defense minister of India. We have discussed it in detail in class. Then amends the constitution. It is Lok Sabha who can make the amendment in the constitution. Participates in the elections and removal of the president, vice president, judges of Supreme Court and High Court. It can alone initiate the procedure for removal of vice president. Here Rajya Sabha has slightly, we can say that here we can say the more power over Lok Sabha. Like this line you can see in this line. Like here you can see that it can alone initiate the procedure for removal of vice president. अगर राज्यसभा जो है अपने यहाँ से जो है removal of vice president को पास कर देता है और वो जो है लोकसभा से अप्रूव हो जाता है, in that case vice president has to vacate the seat. वाइस प्रेसिडेंट को अपनी सीट जो है वो वैकेंट करनी पड़ेगी. एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट इन द केस ऑफ मनी बिल लोकसभा हैज मोर पावर ओवर राज्यसभा because money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Elects the president and vice president and remove judges. Both has the same power in electing the president and vice president. Then establishing committees and commissions and consider their reports. Can give the union parliament power to make law on matter including the state list. And this is the special power of Rajya Sabha. We will discuss it later in this chapter only, students, that can give the Union Parliament power to make law on matter including in the state list. If Parliament want to make some changes in the state list, as we have discussed the three list: Union list, state list, and concurrent list. So Parliament is empowered to make laws on Union list. But if Parliament want to make certain laws on the state list, then it is Rajya Sabha who approve we can say that power to make on matter including the state list, can give the Union Parliament power. तो वो राज्य सभा से पास होएगा. राज्य सभा special power here that if Union government want to make certain changes in the state list, तो वो resolution पहले राज्य सभा से पास होएगा and then Union government can make changes in the state list. So this is about the functions of the two houses, and we can see the parliament, what are the various functions of parliament. We have discussed this. So student, today at 9:25 I will take a Zoom meeting, and you can take your doubts in the Zoom meeting. So watch the video carefully and take your doubts in the Zoom meeting. Thank you, students.